Welcome to LaserBeam Live. This is show number 5, and this is a very spooky show. As you know, Halloween is in a couple of days. We have fittingly changed our setup to invite the spooky mood. Hopefully, you guys are feeling it. Hopefully, we don't have any internet issues. We don't have any quality issues, and you guys can see and hear us to the best quality available. I am joined by my co-host Jebediah. He is going to be, crossing my T's, dotting my I's, making sure that we do everything by the book today. Okay, Nicholas, thank you. We got some good quality. Yes, everybody say hello to Jebediah. What's up, Bucky? Dana, Jack. I don't know how to pronounce that, but is that Koala? Koala Carvings, Nicholas, Jills. Thank you for joining us. We got some fun stuff that we talked about in the last stream that we wanted to play with paper products. And I think for the first time in all of these live streams, I am going to be doing even more kind of trial and error today because I don't usually use paper products. I feel like it's a very new niche use case, but I feel like once you kind of start playing with it, it opens to kind of a whole different kind of avenue of what you can do with the laser. So today we got a regular paper. We're going to be making some signs, just some quick stuff with text and cutting. We also got some decently thick cardstock paper. So we're going to be making a invitation for a party or something like that. If you want to make greeting cards, you can even make business cards. We're going to be playing with the settings on some cardstock. And finally, we are going to be making some custom packaging logos for a box. So if you run a small business or you just want to do some customizations with your shipping material, you can also do that. And like I said before, today we're just going to do trial and error. We might light a box on fire. We might light some cardstock on fire while we're dialing in the settings. But the good thing about paper products is that because it's so easy to burn, engrave, and cut, we can jack the speed up to the machine's limits, which is about 66 millimeters per second or about 4,000 millimeters per minute. So that allows us, today we're just going to be playing with power. So we're because paper is so easy to burn, we're going to jack up the speed so we don't even have to worry about speed. All our speeds today is going to be 66 millimeters per second. And then to get the design that we want on the different thicknesses of the paper product, we're just going to be playing with power. So to make things even simpler, unfortunately, Jebediah actually doesn't have corneas to protect, so he actually doesn't need safety glasses. I am the only one who has a good pair of working eyeballs, so I will be the only one who will be who needs protecting of the eyes. He can actually see into your soul, so if you stare at him for too long, you might get lost in a trance. We are not liable for that. I'm just going to tell you guys right now. If you stare into Jeb's eyes too long, we are not liable for what happens next. Exactly, guys. This is a cautionary tale. Jebediah did not use his safety glasses, and now look what he looks like. Look what happened to him. He was a handsome young man, and now look at him. He's a mess. All right. Who's ready to jump right into it? I feel like we got all the regulars. I see a few new people. What's up, Koala? But I feel like we could just jump right into it. You guys don't want to hear me ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble. Yeah, maybe we could do some. Hey guys, if you come to the back of CNC, I'm doing some, 2-for-1 LASIK eye surgery. You will have to sign a 50-page waiver. because I've never done it, but I feel like I got the laser. So, if you need some LASIK, hit me up. All right, you guys are just relaxing, chilling. Cheers from St. Andrews, New Brunswick, ready for a freaking laser. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, JMB and CNC. How have you guys been? How's your 2 week hiatus from hearing this magical voice of mine and seeing this beautiful face of mine? How have you guys been? How are you guys hanging? How have the laser projects been coming on? I want to hear from you guys for a little bit before we start this tutorial up. Before we start lighting some paper on fire, what has been happening with you guys? I wish. Just upgraded my Lightburn key to Galvo. First time for me, still assembling long mill. Jack, what is Galvo? Lightburn Galvo. Oh, that is really interesting. Jack, that is really cool. First time for me, still assembling the long mill. Koala, no problem at all. That's what these live streams are about. You get to see me mess up, and then hopefully you don't feel so bad about you messing up as we figure this thing out together. Jack, yeah, fiber laser. Yeah, I just saw that it said coming soon. Very, 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 very cool. Oh, I would love to play with a fiber laser. For those of you in the stream who aren't familiar with fiber lasers, there's generally three types of laser machines. There's diodes, the ones that we sell. There's CO2 lasers, larger and more expensive, and even more expensive still sometimes. You have fiber lasers. What fiber lasers are, they go extremely fast. Usually they're pretty stationary, and it's the laser that actually tracks, and you can engrave real metal. You can actually engrave metal. So a lot of a lot of times with other laser devices, CO2 and diode, you're only really engraving or removing the layer on top of the metal in order to make it look like you're engraving metal. But with a fiber laser, you can actually etch metal. So that's really cool. Jack, he put the brand of fiber laser that he's using, and then he upgraded his Lightburn license for Galvo. And that's why we love Lightburn, that they just own the entire like laser software case. So whether you're using CO2 lasers like we have in the back, diode lasers like we sell for the long mill, or even like Jack, a fiber laser, they have the software that's going to be able to be used for you. And because we're already kind of learning Lightburn, most of us are already kind of familiar with Lightburn. As you choose to upgrade machines and try different things, you're going to be pretty equipped with the skills to continue, regardless of the machine. So yeah, that's awesome. Very, 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 very cool. All right, let's jump into this. Let's do this. Let's do this thing. We got Lightburn, and we're gonna start with something simple. We're gonna do some paper, and we're gonna do a trick or treat sign. Yeah, honestly, there's not really that many great softwares for laser. Jack, ArtWorks is it's passable. It's just not as good. I think the first time I used a CO2 laser, it was with ArtWorks, and until I used Lightburn, I thought it was all right, and then I used Lightburn, and I was like, I wish I could have my time back. Um, yeah, so let's get designing. Let's. So I'm using just regular printer paper for a first job. So I'm just going to make a box. And up here in dimensions, I'm going to change the dimensions to a little bit smaller than my paper is. So I'm going to make it, width is going to be, let's make it 250. And let's make the height about 175. So we got our little, and I'm going to make the origin point of our design here at the bottom so that I can line it up to the bottom left. So I can put our X coordinates as 0 and our Y coordinates as 0. This is going to be the outside cut of our paper. If you line things up perfectly, then you can just engrave your paper and you could just use your paper as you can fold it up into whatever you want. For us, it's just going to be a flat sign, but I'm just going to show, and it's also going to be a good testing to see what type of power or I need to actually cut through the paper without lighting it on fire. So I'm just going to cut a smaller box than the piece of paper that we're using, which is just regular printer paper size. So we're just going to cut a little bit smaller in. And there's going to be no need to align it because I'll have that, I'll have that forgiveness area around this box because I made this box smaller than the printer paper dimensions. So for speed, like I told you guys, I'm going to be maxing it out at 66.2. I could probably leave this pretty low for cutting out paper. Even still, I could probably leave it pretty low if I just want to do one pass. So let's do half. Let's do 33, 100% power. Let's stick to one pass. Now let's make some text. Let's do trick or treat if you, one second, guys. Sorry about that. We're going to do trick or treat if you dare. Let's make dare uppercase. And then let's go into the text. Let's highlight our text actually. Or actually, we don't need to highlight our text in Lightburn, but let's find some spooky text here. I feel like every time we're just using such simple stuff. Let's get some really spooky text. I don't really know what spooky text looks like. I don't know if you guys know what spooky text looks like, but I have something in my head that just, it's creepy, a little bit off kilter. You know what? I like this. Sitka small semi-bold. Let's do that. And then I am going to change Comic Sans. Yeah, I think by default, Comic Sans is pretty spooky just by the fact like who would actually use it. Now I'm going to change the color to red because I want different settings for my engraving than I want for my cutting. So the speed is going to be 66, which is the max of our machine. You guys might be using different dimensions, but if you convert back to millimeters per second, the machine can only reach 66 millimeters per second or 4,000 millimeters per minute. That's locked in your EEPROM settings for your controller, and that setting comes from a lot of testing that we did back end to get you guys the best results. So you don't want to fiddle with your EEPROM settings, and there's no point in setting your speed higher than the machine can actually go. So 66 and 100% power. I don't actually know if I need 100% power, but it's going to be like a baseline. So I want it to fill. I don't want it to do the line work of the text. I want it to fill, and then I want it to cut it out. And now I want my text in the center of this right here. So my box is 250 millimeters in width, and I want this to be centered. So my text, I'm going to make sure I change the origin of my text to center, and then I'm going to change the width to 125. Oh, sorry. I'm going to change the X position to 125. So that's how I know that my text is centered. So I changed this origin point. The design origin point is just where these XY positions are going to affect. So if I put this at the bottom left and I put 0, 0 in my coordinates, it's going to drop down to the corner here. But because I put it to the center, it's going to line up to this center dot right here. And that is going to, I used some simple math to find out what my center, which is just 250 millimeters divided by 2. And then I just inputted that in the coordinates here, 125. And then I can do the same thing for the height. Or because I put center and I didn't put center bottom or center top, I'm now centered in the middle of my text. All I need is the height of my box, which is 175. And I can click back on my text. And then all I need to do is input my halfway point, which is going to be 87.5. Now we are perfectly centered. Yeah, this is just the laser that we sell, the LaserBeam on the CNC Labs website. Koala, thanks for asking. No mods. All I have is the stock air assist. The reason I have the air assist on is because I do want it to, it's going to help from allowing the laser to catch the paper on fire, because it's such a delicate, material in terms of heat being applied to paper. The air assist will help in terms of any fire, potential fire, as we dial in our settings. Obviously, once we dial in our settings for a material, there's no need to worry about a fire, but always have a fire suppression system handy, and yeah, keep that ready to go as you try things out. So we have our text in black. It's going to be a fill. It's centered in our box. We have our box that's going to be a cut, and it is halfway. And sorry, the box is a little bit smaller than our printer paper dimensions. So I'm going to export. Actually, no, I'm going to add a little bit of something. This seems a little bit basic. So what I want to do is import some imagery. Let's throw some bats in there. We don't want the grid in the back. Oh, actually, yeah, we don't want the grid in the back. It's not a perfect PNG. So you could use, let's see if we can trace the image, because we just want the bat, right? And we want to press OK. So we did have this, which was just a regular PNG, but not really a PNG, because you can see the grid. And with our laser and light burn, if you can see it, it's going to engrave it. So as you can see here, we wanted to get rid of that. Sorry, just we wanted to get rid of that. So all we did was click on trace image. And then because it's such a simple design, it easily got the trace of the image. And then I'm just going to delete the original. So now we have this. And right now it's set on fill. So it's just going to fill this entire thing in. So you won't even be able to see the eyes. You'll just see the outline. And we could change the color of this to a different color. And then we could do just line. Sorry, we could just do line if we just want the outline. But I actually do want to do a fill. So I'm going to change that back. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this a bunch of times. We want to be all decorative. So I'm going to show you guys something called the circle array. So you saw me copy and pasting a bunch of the same image because I wanted multiples of there, but you can actually do something called the grid array or the circle array. And you can actually create this really cool um, design essentially. And it might not work for this, but yeah. So we're just creating some more space in the center. And we can increase the copies or decrease the copies. And you can kind of see that we got this really cool design. Now I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to try to get it somewhat in this corner. Yeah, so we could flip some of them. So we have this, and we just use the flip. So we can flip it this way, or you can flip it this way. But I do want to, let's do a circle array. And I kind of want the circle to just overlap this bottom corner over here. And I think that would look pretty cool. But you guys can use different tools to make things kind of look cool to you. I like this a little bit. I like the overlapping. I like it overlapping the text as well. So I'm going to, that's going to be my design here. So as you can see, because the text is fill and the bats are fill, it's just going to be this overlap where, you're going to see everything inside here being black. And it might make it a little bit hard to read, but I think the aesthetics will make it pretty cool. So we might have to come back here and change our cut or our engrave settings just in case we light the paper on fire. But I'm happy with this for now. I'm going to save it. Call it trick or treat 1. They have to make multiples. And then I always just make it a point to make it .nc. It will most likely auto save as a .nc, but I like to just make sure and just add the file extension. We can now load the file in GSender. And now we can turn on our driver. I have done, like you guys have seen in the last LaserBeam that we've been doing some cutting in with paper as our template.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't know what happened. I think it was a software issue. I was just, Hello, hello. Okay. Can you hear me? Hey guys, can you hear me? Hey, hey, hey. Hello. No. Good. Okay. Like a DJ, I will have my headphones around my neck. You guys can hear me, hopefully. Awesome. Thanks for being patient. We will now light some paper on fire. I'm just going to tape the ends. I don't want to tape too much because as it cuts, it's going to, it might actually cut through the tape. And so I'm only going to tape like the corners. Test 1 2 1 2. Some people are saying it's better. Some people are saying it's better than the first one. Is it? Is it good? Oh, nice. Good to hear. At least I don't gotta hold the mic anymore. I know today was the first time I was actually using the stand, but nice. Okay, awesome. We'll just use my headset next time. Uh, we'll just use it from the start since you guys are saying that it's better in the first place. Hopefully, it has the same. Okay, guys. I know you say it's better, but I'm about to turn on the laser driver. So let me know if you guys are hearing too much fan. Okay. How is it? How's the audio right now? Because the fan is on from the driver and the laser. So let me know if you guys can still hear me or if it's picking up the fan and it's a little bit too loud. You guys can let me know. How is it? Still good? Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys for the help. You guys are essentially. Oh, wow. Even less. Wow. Awesome. Okay, guys, we'll just use this mic from now on. We'll just use this mic from now on, guys. So I'm just going to start my job here. So I'm just going to move it to the corners of it. And then I'm going to set my height with the G2 focus finder. So there we are. So I got my height set. I'm going to raise it by 3 millimeters. So I'm raising it by 3 millimeters so that I can focus it on my waste material, which is 3 millimeters thick, because I don't want to mark up my piece of paper. So before I set my zero, I'm going to turn it on at 1%. I'm on dip switch 5 because we're just going to be playing with the power and light burn today. If I find that it's too much, I can obviously lower the dip switch, but I'm going to turn the laser on and going to make some fine adjustments. Honestly, it's pretty focused. So I'm now going to lower it by 3 millimeters. And now I'm going to zero everything. So I'm focused. My material is clean. I'm on dip switch level 5. I don't think I'm going to need all that power. I'm going to make an executive decision and I'm going to go down to dip switch 3. And guys, You guys are funny. No, I do not get paid overtime for this because I have very flexible hours. So I just, work less in the day on the days that I stream, and then I come in during the evening. So koala, you're gonna get this. You're gonna get there on when you actually get to your design. But let me just explain it. This might be uh, a little bit simple, easy for most of you guys because since you have the laser and you guys are already using it. Uh, but let me pull up the resources here so I can show you. So on the laser driver, there is a dip switch here that actually controls your power setting on a hardware level. So we set the power to 100% on Lightburn, but on our actual laser driver, we can now set between five different power settings. JTech. Yes, you could just sit in the corner and watch. That is fine. But for if you guys do end up getting a laser, or if you're just, this is just what I mean when I refer to dip switch. It's 1 to 5. You place one of the settings downwards to have that kind of, yeah, it's like a safety thing, but it's also like a hardware um, thing. So in the middle of my job, I could pause my job and switch the dip switch, right? So one is 20% power, two is 40% power, three is 60% power, four is 80% power, and dip switch setting five is 100% max power. So it's just another way to vary your power, but on a hardware level. So I'm switching it to dip switch level three because I don't think I'm going to need that much power. Um, and so, yeah, let's start the job. Always wear your safety glasses, guys. And let's see what happens. So I actually have it right at the end. And I don't think that actually cut through, but I'm curious to see how it's going to engrave. So yeah, that did not cut through. So that wasn't enough power to cut through it. But I'm curious to see how the engraving is going to come out. I think it looks pretty good so far. I'm like super curious to see how the engraving is going to come out because if at least we have an engraving setting, then I can always just run the cut again at 5, and I could just keep running it until it cuts and just like reset the job. It's a very lazy way to do it. I could obviously just like up the power and light burn, come back in with the same code at the same 0 point, and then rerun it. But I can do both actually. So, guys, you can actually do both. So I think it's actually engraving really well. So I'm actually going to leave it for the engraving part. But at the end of this job, I'm going to reset it, and then I can slow down. So you have an override at the bottom here of G sender. You have an override, so you can actually lower the speed, and on your driver you can raise the dip switch. So what I'm going to do for the cutting, because it didn't cut all the way out, is I'm going to switch it to dip switch level 5, and I'm going to lower the speed drastically. So I will probably end up lowering it by like 80%, so that we can actually get a cut on this. I think I was a little bit outside of my border actually. So not the best job, but that's okay. We'll see what happens. I can redo the project, but we'll see how long this one takes. So what I should have done is I should have measured my starting point to make sure that I had enough space. Um, but I did not. I kind of eyeballed it. So some of the cut is like outside of the paper material. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. Let's go ahead and start designing our next job. Actually, not a lot of smoke for paper. Whenever you're doing wood, there's a lot of smoke. Acrylic, there's not a lot of smoke, but the acrylic smoke just smells horrible. And with the paper, at the speed that I'm running it right now, you can see like some of the parts are really dark and black, and some of the parts are a little bit more gray. But no, there's not that much smoke being produced. I think because we're running at a higher speed, so there's less time that the laser actually stays in one place and has enough power to burn something to the point where a lot of smoke is being created. Right? You know what? That's a perfect. That's a JTech. That's awesome. I actually would love that. I think that would be so cool if we had a little laser here. They've already made some really cool stuff with just like the actual visualizer. So I don't think it would be that difficult to have them actually change that to a laser. I know that they were having issues with the most recent update of G Sender Edge. I don't think they. I think they rolled that one back. So I'm gonna let them figure that out before I kind of come to them with aesthetic changes. What I want to really work with them with is being able to tailor test power below 1%, because a lot of people have been telling me that even at 1%, I know I always tell you guys to use a material for testing or for focusing. That's not your actual real material, but some people still want like the actual, want to focus on their real material without burning. So I want to talk to them and see if we could develop something so that we can go even lower than 1%. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty funny. Just an omnipotent hand with a pointer that's just moving it around. That would actually be pretty cool. I will float these ideas by him. Okay, so guys, I didn't realize, but I'm actually gonna stop this job. So I'm stopping the job because we're actually burning right through our material with our engraving settings. So that was too intense. So you can see that it was engraving some of it, but it was actually cutting through a lot of it. So you could see like we were just way too powerful. So not powerful enough on the cutting, and way too powerful on the engraving. So I'm gonna reset with another piece of paper, and let's change up some settings and see if we can dial things in. So I'm gonna go to home. Let's reset that and see if we can dial it in. So let's go back to light burn. So our cut our cut is going to be about let's say 10 millimeters per second, and I'm going to do two passes. Our fill is going to be about, let's say, 15% power. Yeah, this guy has no chill right now. He's he needs a timeout. So I'm dropping the power to 15% on the engraving, and then in G Sender we'll be able to jack it up if we need to. So just for time's sake, I'm actually gonna drop down the size of this so that we can get it done relatively quickly and we can start designing our next project. So let's put this at 0, 0, and then let's save the G code. I'm just gonna resave it over our old .nc. So I changed the settings. I'm going to re-upload the G code. I made it smaller so that we could get it done a little bit quicker. And I changed the power. So now we should be able to just use our override settings, and hopefully if we see that it's not engraving properly, we'll jack up the power, we'll lower the speed, we'll play with the override until we kind of get it right. So I'm restarting that again, this time on a smaller job. Yeah, yeah, we do celebrate Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving a few weeks ago. I know your Thanksgiving is coming up if you're from the States. Yeah, no tape. No tape. I didn't do the tape just because I didn't think the cut was actually going to flare out, but I'll keep an eye on it. I just don't know where the tape is. Like honestly, like I just don't know where the tape is. So yeah, I only needed one pass on my new settings to cut the paper, which is awesome. And now it's just going for a second pass. Sorry guys. I know you guys want to watch. So yeah, it did my new settings did cut. It cut the thing in one pass. I put an extra pass just in case. And now let's see if my engraving settings are good. And if they're not, then we will use the override settings instead of resetting our job and changing the settings. We'll try to live change our settings here. So and it's just a much smaller project, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. So I'm gonna double check and see. So it doesn't look like we're getting anything. So I'm going to raise the power. So I'm gonna pause the job and we're gonna switch to dip switch level 5. And then I'm gonna resume the job. Let's see if that does anything. It doesn't seem to do anything. So now I'm going to lower the speed. Yeah, we're going to DEFCON 5, guys. We are not getting any burning. We need to raise the power. And we're going to lower speed and see if we can get somewhere with this. So raising the speed really, or lowering the speed really sucks because it's just going to take forever for the job to be done. Yeah, right. Like everything, it can only be cut and not engraved. But it really is just dialing in the settings, and I do think we'll be able to get it to engrave at least. So let's try that again. Trial and error, baby. I'm gonna try one more time, and if I can't do it, then let's move on to cardstock, um, because I would like to get some other stuff done before the end. Let's try 35% power, same speed. Let's overwrite our old G code. Oh, actually, no. Let's get rid of the cut because we're already good on the cut. So this is just the engraving, same dimensions. I'm gonna overwrite the G code, and then load the file. So let's go to the 0. And we kept our 0 point the same, so we can just start the job and see if this new power setting will engrave the paper. So now we are too powerful. So yeah, this might be a type of paper where we're just not going to be able to engrave it, and we're only going to be able to do the cutouts. So you know what? I'm gonna let it do its thing, and it's just gonna cut it all out. And let's see how it looks. Yeah, that was 35% power at DEFCON 5, aka dip switch level 5, and we are now still cutting it out. So what I'm gonna do, and I think we'll have better results, is using a bit of thick cardstock that has a little bit of weight to it, and hopefully we can engrave this without cutting all the way through or lighting it on fire. Hopefully we have better results, but we definitely will be able to engrave the cardboard without lighting it on fire. So while this thing is going, it's like a 15-minute job. We can start designing. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Jack. Don't forget to hit the like button, share. If you guys know any people who are makers like you, tell them about the long mill, the LaserBeam. Uh, no, I actually I actually don't. I always just pause the job if I'm going to do it, but you don't have to turn off the driver to change the dip switch. I just do recommend making sure that the driver's not currently firing the laser. So either pausing your job, stopping your job, doing it in the middle of a job, but you can switch the dip switch while the driver itself is on, just not actually sending signal to the laser. I don't recommend that. So let's go back to the drawing board for cardstock. And I'm going to get back to our original design just in case I ever want it. Let's save that as trick or treat. And now I want to do an invitation. Let's see. Hopefully, this whole stream isn't just only being able to engrave cardboard. Let's at least get some engraving done on the cardstock. So let's get the. I want the similar box because it's small and it's a little bit easier to create jobs for smaller projects in the time span that we have, because I'm not going to be taking up too much of your time. Uh, so this time, let's do invitation and let's do fancy letters. So let's get some super fancy stuff going on here. So nothing looks too fancy if I'm being honest, but I'll just pick something that I like. Something simple. Um, so you are invited. I'm going to flip it. No, I'm going to flip it this way. No, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And then, nope, going to flip it this way. Nope, don't want to flip it that way. You are invited. And let's lower the size. And then I'm just going to copy and paste the text box and create something at the bottom. And then you're invited to a spooky event. So that paper is not engraving. It's cutting a little bit, but not really engraving. So you are invited to a spooky event. We want it to fold in the center. So we actually do, uh, yeah, we actually do want it to be something like this so that you can read it on both sides when you turn it around. And then I want to create some, so I do want to create some center score lines here. Oh, sorry guys. I missed the obvious. You are invited to a spooky live stream. What am I doing with my life? Okay, so now I want to create a line down the center, and I want it to be the same engraving power as my actual. I don't want to use nodes. Hmm. I do want to draw a line here. I want to make sure my line is touching on both ends. Actually, it doesn't have to be touching on both ends. I'm going to take the dimension here, which is 94, and I'm going to make this actually a little bit smaller than that. So let's make it about 80. And then I want to center it, and then I want to put that right in the center. So, sorry, this text should be black, just like this. This color can be green. Um, this we're gonna make black. This should be black. This should be blue, and then we want to center it from the height. It's actually for help with folding. Actually, that's the idea behind it. I'm not sure if it'll work, but I want to be able to fold it, so might as well have an engraved line. Even if it doesn't actually score the material, it'll at least give me somewhere to aim when folding. So The height is 94.8. So I should make this, the center should be about 47, the dimensions, yeah. So I'll make about 47.2 or whatever. I should put it just about center, and that should be all right. I'll also just center this just for shits and gigs. 47.2, 47.2. It actually should be 47.4. So let's make it 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. Oh yeah. 47.4. Yeah. So I got it. I did not cheat off you, Jills. I did not cheat off you, but I do appreciate you sending that in. Um, that was way more difficult than it should have been for me, but I do appreciate you guys. But I got there eventually. So I'm going to keep this 2, maybe drop this to 8 because it is thicker than that. And that was able to cut through one pass. We do have 2 passes here, but I do want to lower the power a little bit. So 35 is currently cutting through our paper. So I do want to just maybe try like 50 and just see what happens. And I just want the line here. And we could try a little bit faster than the cutting. So let's try 15, or let's try 20 at 100% power. Let's see if it does. Let's see if it does, Nicholas. Let's do 94.8 divided by 2. 94.8 divided by 2. Let's move it first and then try 94.8 divided by 2. Yes, so Nicholas, it does do simple math like you suggested. It does, which is pretty cool. So let's hope we don't have to run this one several times, and hopefully we can use the override to get some decent results here. So we have fill for the text, and we have the line. Okay. So let's save G code and invite one, and it should be a .nc. Let's open up GSender. Let's take a look at the results. So it wasn't the best. We can try this code after if we have enough time on some construction paper. Construction paper does have a little bit more texture to it. But I think this is... All right, Koala Carvings, thank you for joining us. Take care. I don't know what time it is over there, but cheers. Guys, this might be my first true failure on the live stream. I know we've had some trial and error, but this is just horrendous. We did not make a thing. Let's see if cardstock will be any better. I have hope that it will. I have high hopes that cardstock will perform a little bit better. But we shall see. Uh, oh, it's 9 p.m. for them. Oh, it's 9 p.m. for us. Awesome. So you're on the same time as us. Koala Carvings, take care. Jack at the Shop is also on Eastern Standard Time. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining. Uh, catch you later. Catch you next time. Every 2 weeks, we do this live. So yeah, let's start this up and let's see what happens with cardstock. This one's just text. So the cutting looks good. I'm not sure if we're all the way through, so the second pass might actually have been needed. And I'm curious to see what happens. I would like a win at least, you know, in terms of paper products. Oh, 11 a.m. for Jill's. Good morning. Hopefully you had your coffee. Thanks for joining us in the morning. I know you could be doing a lot of things right now. Thank you for joining us, Jills. I think the second pass might have been needed. I'm actually going to slow it down a little bit, actually, because I want to make sure we're cutting all the way through. So I believe we did cut. I believe we started cutting all the way through on the second pass after I lowered the speed. So I don't think we cut just all the way through, but I'm gonna leave it alone for now. I want to see what the engraving is gonna look like, and then we can always try again. So we overrode the speed to 80%, and I think that's what is getting the cut through on the second pass. I can always reset it. I can always pause. I can always stop the job, reset it. It'll do the cuts again, and so that'll add another 2 passes to it. But I think the name of the game here is we all know we can cut paper. We learned that today. We all know we have no problem cutting paper. It's more trying to dial in the engraving settings that we're looking for here. Which is like, no, that's not what we're getting here. So it doesn't look like we're getting anything here. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the job. We are 0 for like 4 right now, guys. Come on. I need some good juju here. I'm gonna get rid of the cut because we're already done. And I'm going to change this to 80% power. I actually want to change it to 100 and see what happens. All right. Let's see what happens with 100% power at 66. And the line is at 100% power at 20 millimeters per second. Jeb has Jeb has cursed us. This is our 5th live stream, and every live stream we make something cool, and we are being cursed right now with these paper products. So let's see what happens. More power. Victory. I'm not 100% sure if we cut all the way through. Yes, Jills, that's an awesome attitude to have. We are still learning together. We're gonna figure out what doesn't work so that we can figure out what does. I love that attitude. Although Jeb has cursed us, he does not like what he sees, and he has abandoned us. Nicholas, that was a nice one. Tim the Toolman Taylor, yes. I actually loved that show when I was a kid. Tim Allen. Shouts out to Tim Allen. Um, yes, we are getting some engraving here. I don't know if we're cutting all the way through, but we're definitely getting some engraving here. We may be cutting all the way through, but hopefully we're not. So while this is running, it has about 8 more minutes left. I'm going to make a job for the cardboard. So hopefully we can get 2 wins before the end of this stream. Um, let's save this as, let's go back, add the outline, and then save the project as an invite. And then let's, so now we're not trying to cut the cardboard. We're imagining you're doing custom packaging. Imagine you're doing custom packaging and you wanted to put your logo on a box. That's what we're doing right now. So let's change up the text. Which text screams business? Let's just grab a real thick text um, and change this up to, let's do terror deliveries. Terror delivery. Let's do terror delivery. Let's do 2 different things. And then let's add some, let's import something that we can use to make this nice and let's use a scarecrow. So let's use the same technique that we used before. Let's trace the image. And then we have this outline. So it's not as clean as the other one was. So I'm going to ungroup and I'm going to get rid of a lot of this stuff on the ends. I'm going to get rid of some of this small stuff so that we can have just a good outline. And this is truly terrifying. So we did the outline trace. So Jill's asked, does Lightburn support layers? So theoretically, you could do layers just by layering up the image in the same spot, and you can do the outline. You could have the engraving. But yeah, the short answer is that yes, you can use layers. I'm not going to be the best person to explain that right now, but we can definitely add that to another live stream. Or you just hit up YouTube and click layers, and I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. So it does look like we're getting engraving. It just looks like we're missing out on a little bit of we're missing out on some lines somewhere in the middle. So I think we can optimize it by slowing things down. But yeah, yes, you can make things different colors, and you can arrange this on in the order that you want to do. So in that term, you can do layers fairly easily just by selecting a different color, which essentially allows you to do a whole different set of settings. So that's pretty cleaned up. I think that's pretty simplified. Nice little scarecrow as a logo. Let's shrink it down a bit. You don't want this one to take too long. And yeah, let's, you know what? Let's do some creative design here. Let's get rid of the T, and then let's use this as the T. So terror deliveries. How do you guys like my graphic design here? Huh? How do you guys like my graphic design? Sorry, I'll show you guys what I did. All I did was add the text. I imported the scarecrow, which is just a PNG. It wasn't like it didn't have a clear background. I did the trace image. It gave me this. And then I just went in and I cleaned it up. So I didn't like all these. Because it's a fill, I ungrouped it so that I can get rid of all this stuff. So ungroup, so I can get rid of all these small details that doesn't really add anything to me. It just complicates things. So I just tried to get rid of them. So just these little things over here. So I use the trace outline, and then I use the ungroup function so I could get things a little bit simpler. Get rid of all this stuff. I got rid of the face that looks weird. I think we all get that it's a scarecrow without the face. And then once I have this outline, I just made it a little bit smaller. So I don't need any of that stuff. So I just made it a little bit smaller. And then I replaced the T because I'm such a great graphic designer. And because the scarecrow looks like a T. And now we have Terror Deliveries, my new delivery service brand, especially for the spooky season. So I'm actually going to select all of this and I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom, zero, uh, position 0, 0. So I want the bottom left arrangement so that I can start my job at the bottom left. And we have Terror Designs. Beautiful. So it's all fill. So I'm going to use the same. So I'm actually going to lower the speed on this one. Um, so on about 50. I can always raise the speed. And he will be, I'm going to make him the same color as everything else because it's going to be all fill. So let's check out our little project. So it came out all right. If I were to do it again, I would lower the speed because we're missing a little bit of detail there. It does look a little bit creepy. And I did smudge it. So not the best, but it does work and you can dial in the settings. So I'm like 0.5 for 3. I'm about 0.5 for 3 right now. So let's see if we can go at least 1.5 for 3 and get the terror delivery company up and running. Cardboard to the rescue. So I do have to, let's save the G code as terror delivery. Let's open it up in G Sender. Um, I do have to change up the. I do have to refocus it. Yeah, I do have to refocus it a little bit because the cardboard is thicker than the cardstock on the paper. So, oh, Jeb dropped this tape. So I'm just gonna test the height, and I want the real height. I don't want the height of putting pressure on the cardboard because that's not going to be really be the real height. I want the height of just the cardboard itself. So let's see if we can get this to work. Let's zero it all. And let's see if we can get this final project of the stream to look somewhat cool. All right. You guys ready for the final one? Let's do some. Of course, cardboard looks amazing. Guys, cardboard is the best paper product. Cardstock is not too bad at all. You can make it work. Just don't smudge it. Nicholas was right. Cardboard to the rescue. So you can make cardstock work really well. I would just lower the speed, raise the power a little bit. I didn't cut all the way through, so I could have just lowered the speed. If I was a little bit more patient, I would have got some better results. And if we have time at the end, I do want to redo the cardstock just at a lower speed and see what happens. So the cardboard looks really nice. So yeah, I do want to try again on the cardstock with what I learned. This job is not too fast at all or not too slow, so I'm not too worried. Cardboard looks awesome. So that was easy peasy. Cardboard came out beautifully. It was quick. And now you have your branded boxes. So if you run a small business, you can do these really nice branded boxes for relatively like low effort. That was a very low effort project and very quick project. So cardboard obviously is the best. It does smudge, so be careful. And what I want to do is I want to try the cardstock one last time. I do want to lower the speed this time. So before we go, let's run it one more time. Invite 2. So I do want to add the cardboard. I do want to cut the. So I'm going to save this as care delivery. And then I essentially want to Control Z all the way back to our previous project, if it'll let me, because I want those exact settings. I want the last settings of my text, but I want the first settings of my cut. So hopefully this will work. You guys can see what I'm doing. I'm literally just Control Zing until we get back to the previous project. Because my engraving was nice, I want to lower the speed, but my cutting took to I removed it in the second file. So let's. Okay, so 66 and 50 and 20 and 100. So 66 and 50 and 20 and 100. Then let's get the cutout. So I'm going to lower the cutout to 6 millimeters per second. And I'm going to lower the speed to 40. I think 40 will do it. This is going to be invite 3. And let's pop this into GSender. Invite 3. Let's refocus everything here. So let's get that good. Let's make sure our focus height is all good. So I'm going to zero it all, and then we're going to start our job. So again, we're actually missing a little bit of the Y. When it's trying to do the Y, we're actually missing a little bit of it. So, hmm. So I'm actually going to try to fill shapes individually. That's the only thing I'm going to change. And then I'm actually just going to try to do line just to speed things up. And we can lower the speed again because we just want to kind of speed it up. So I'm going to overwrite that. And let's try that again. So invite 3. Let's open that up. So now we have line work instead of fill. So that should speed things up a little bit. And I'm going to reset, zero everything. And let's start the job again. Okay. So that's way too fast. Let's drop that down to 18. 18 and 80. We're not playing around anymore. Zero it all. And let's try this. It does look much better. I might even run it again at a lower speed once this is done. Maybe the same speed, but I might just run it again to get the text really, really, really looking good. So this looks a lot better just because we lowered the speed, but there are still a few different places where the text doesn't look 100%. But you know what? I think that's going to be all right. I think if you're doing this at home, lower the speed. If we learned anything today, although we want to save time with higher speed, cardstock is we're already kind of playing with fire a little bit. So you do want to make sure that your speeds and feeds are all right. So just because I'm stubborn, I'm going to try this one last time. You're invited to a spooky live stream. This is not bad, but I think we could get it a little bit better just by dropping the speed. Let's drop it to, I want to say 15. Let's just drop it on the override by 18%. Let's drop it by 80% on the override so that we can just start it up from here. So I essentially want to pause it the moment it starts. Okay, that's a bit too difficult to time it. So I'm just gonna go back to light burn and change it up. So we're at, so let's try 14. That's gonna be all right. 14 millimeters per second. Hopefully we stop getting those gaps because we lower the speed so much. And if you're doing this at home, your options are to lower the speed or to just do multiple passes, right? All right. What we're trying to get rid of is these gaps in like the lettering that I think are coming from just the everything moving so fast. And the only way to prevent smudging is really probably just to use gloves and just be very careful, or use tools like tongs or just anything that's not your fingers. Is probably going to have a better result in terms of not smudging. So just gloves is probably the best, and then just grabbing the corners, the very corners. All right. So we don't even need the second pass. All right, guys. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. So you guys will have time to perfect this in your own projects. A little bit slower, maybe two passes, whatever you need to do to make it perfect. But once you do, you can make it very repeatable. And there you go. You just made some cool invitations. Not bad. You're invited to a spooky live stream. A spooky live stream it was. All right, guys. I want you guys to thank Jebediah for joining us, gracing us with his presence. If you haven't already, like the video, share it. If you think we make cool stuff here at CNC, please tell a friend. And yeah, join the community, the Facebook group, the forum. If you have any issues, send an email. If you have any technical issues, if something's missing, if you have questions for ordering um, your laser, send in a ticket. Every ticket with the word laser in it goes directly to me, and I will deal with your issue. If something's not working, if you were missing something in a box, if you're not sure if this laser is for you, send in the ticket, send in the email. It'll go straight to me if it's regarding the laser, and we can have a one on one chat via email or on the phone. Um, you know how CNC does it. It's the same thing for the laser. We want to make sure that you're actually using the product and it's not just stuck in your garage collecting dust. So, all of you guys, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you guys for being so proactive in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Jack has a yeah. If you guys have any ideas for stream number 6, you want a THC for the long mill. Uh, I just had to Google that. A torch height control. Torch height control. Ooh. Is that for your plasma build, Jack? What a T? Yeah, yeah. Guys, we do have a prototype plasma here in the office, and our engineers are playing with it at their leisure. But I'm not going to be the one to spoil any of the beans of what they're developing in the back end. Just know that they have a working long mill plasma. So I'm going to end it there. I don't want to, put them in a position that they're not ready to discuss or anything. So yeah, they're working on it. They're working on some cool stuff. I don't have any other information other than that. I'll ask them when I see them in the office next, and I'll see where they're at in terms of a THC. I'll try to get you that update, Jack. Nicholas, if you have any ideas for the next live stream, I yeah, I imagine the THC is super important. It's almost like the Z-axis probe for a 3D printer, right? Like, if it's not the right distance away, it's probably the difference between cutting through some steel and not cutting through some steel. So I imagine it's super important. But guys, if you have any ideas for the next live stream, I might return back to paper products because I feel like I didn't get the win that I wanted. But unless you guys have a better idea and a cooler idea, I don't mind exploring that as well. but I may just return back to paper products and see if we can do a round two. I can spend a little bit more time testing and locking in some settings offline, and then next time I come, we can make some even cooler projects. Maybe we could do a American Thanksgiving themed kind of thing. I don't even remember when your Thanksgiving is. It might pass before the next one, but no problem. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. My name is Ikenna Ofoa. I developed the laser beam. Took me a long time with the support of this great company, CNC Labs. Like the video, share it with a friend, share the channel with a friend, share the website with a friend. Talk to all your friends who like to make stuff and tell them about this awesome machine that you have called the CNC long mill and the laser beam attachment. Yeah, that's something we could possibly do. It is a little bit more difficult. It'll be a little bit more loud, so I do think we have to set a few things up before we can do that. But Nicholas, thank you for the suggestion. I will keep it in mind. We will definitely do it. I just don't know if we'll do it as our next one. We will definitely do a mixed CNC and laser project. Maybe we can find a simple one that works. But uh, stay tuned. Send me some emails if you guys have any ideas, or send a DM to the Instagram, the CNC Labs Instagram. Uh, Dana, Nicholas, Jack, Koala already left. Anybody, Jills, you all are great. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Halloween. Have a safe and fun Halloween with your family and friends. Uh, yeah, stay creative and stay safe and stay spooky. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. The next live stream will be in 2 weeks on a Thursday. It will be November the 10th. So 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. I will catch you guys then. Stay safe. Bye.